right, time for another round of philosophy time. Hope you're doing fine. Jonathan was dazzled. He forgot to ask about heaven. How do you do that? How does it feel? How far can you go? You can go to any place and to any time that you wish to go, the elder said. I've gone everywhere and every when I can think of. He looked across the sea. It's strange. The gulls who scorn perfection for the sake of travel go nowhere, slowly. Those who put aside travel for the sake of perfection go anywhere, instantly. Remember, Jonathan, heaven isn't a place or time, because place and time are so very meaningless. Heaven is... Can you teach me to fly like that? Jonathan Seagull trembled to conquer another unknown. Of course, if you wish to learn. I wish. When can we start? We could start now, if you'd like. I want to learn to fly like that, Jonathan said, and a strange light glowed in his eyes. Tell me what to do. Chien spoke slowly and watched the younger gull ever so closely. To fly as fast as thought, to anywhere that is, he said, you must begin by knowing you have already arrived. The trick, according to Chien, was for Jonathan to stop seeing himself as trapped inside a limited body that had a 42-inch wingspan and performance that could be plotted on a chart. The trick was to know that his true nature lived as perfect as an unwritten number, everywhere at once across space and time. Jonathan kept at it fiercely day after day, from before sunrise until past midnight, and for all his efforts, he moved not a feather width from his spot. Forget about faith, Chien said time and again. You don't need faith to fly. You needed to understand flying. This is just the same. Now try again. Then one day, Jonathan, standing on the shore, closing his eyes, concentrating, all in a flash, knew what Chien had been telling him. Why, that's true. I am a perfect unlimited gull. He felt a great shock of joy. Good, said Chien, and there was a victory in his voice. Jonathan opened his eyes. He stood alone with the elder on a totally different shore. Trees down to the water edge, twin yellow suns turning overhead. At last, you've got the idea, Chien said. But your control needs a little work. Jonathan was stunned. Where are we? Utterly unimpressed by the strange surrounding, the elder brushed the question aside. We're on some planet, obviously, with a green sky and a double star for a sun. Jonathan made a scream of delight, the first sound he had made since he left Earth. It works! Well, of course it works, Jonathan, said Chien. It always works, when you know what you're doing. Now about your control. By the time they returned, it was dark. The other gulls looked at Jonathan with awe in their golden eyes, for they had seen him disappear from where he was rooted for so long. He stood their congratulations for less than a minute. I'm the newcomer here. I'm just beginning. It is I who must learn from you. I wonder about that, Jonathan, said Sullivan, standing near. You have less fear of learning than any gull I've seen in 10,000 years. The flock fell silent, and Jonathan fidgeted with embarrassment. We can start working with time if you wish, Chien said, till you can fly the past and the future, and then you will be ready to begin the most difficult, the most powerful, the most fun of all. You will be ready to begin to fly up and know the meaning of kindness and of love. A month went by, or something that felt like a month, and Jonathan learned at a tremendous rate. He always had learned quickly from ordinary experience, and now, the special student of the elder himself, he took in new ideas like a streamlined feathered computer. But then the day came that Chien vanished. He had been talking quietly with them all, exhorting them never to stop their learning and their practicing and their striving to understand more of the perfect invisible principle of all life. Then, as he spoke, his feathers went brighter and brighter, and at last turned so brilliant that no gull could look upon him. Jonathan, he said, and these were the last words he spoke, keep working on love. When they could see again, Chien was gone. As the days went past, Jonathan found himself thinking of time and again on the earth from which he had come. If he had known that there was just a tenth, just 100th of what he knew here, how much more life would have meant. He stood on the sand and fell to wondering if there was a gull back there who might be struggling to break out of his limits, to see the meaning of flight beyond a way of travel, to get breadcrumbs from a rowboat. Perhaps there might even have been one made outcast for speaking his truth in the face of the flock. And the more Jonathan practiced his kindness lessons, the more he worked to know the nature of love, the more he wanted to go back to earth. For in spite of his lonely past, Jonathan Seagull was born to be an instructor. And his own way of demonstrating love was to give something of truth that he had seen to a gull who asked only a chance to see the truth for himself.